Are we in Europe? If we are, why don't we have normal streets? We're living in the mud.
European governments are under pressure to focus on Roma integration. Kavarna in Bulgaria is given as one example of where things are working. 10 years ago, this man complained to Parliament about discrimination in his town. Things dramatically changed when a new mayor came into office, but concerns remained about the overall situation in the country.
The animals in Bulgaria are better integrated than the Roma, and I will let you know why. Because EU funds are not reaching the Roma children. In order to achieve successful integration, we need funds. No one is employed. There are no jobs, but they want us to integrate. Please tell me how. Explain it to me.
Here in Kavarna, though, things look brighter. The Roma are now given help to build new homes and improve their neighbourhoods. The town has set an example in a country that has the second largest Roma population in Europe. The mayor set up a minorities integration service, and new facilities are being provided. The land we're on here used to be an eyesore and a legal rubbish dump, but now it's been totally transformed. 50 new homes have been built, and there are plans for many more. Roma leaders say none of this would have been possible without the financial help from the local authorities. And for example, for young people living here, what's it like? It's good? Kavarna's mayor has also made his town famous with heavy metal music festivals. He proudly shows us the signatures of stars who have come here. He's not a Roma himself, but seems to be passionate about equality.
When I became mayor, I started to work for all ethnic groups: Roma, Bulgarians, Tatars, Gagauzis, Armenians. There was no differentiation in my work. I simply made a differentiation according to the proportion of the population. The Roma are a third of the population, and I suggested that a third of our budget should go to the Roma neighbourhoods infrastructure. Even more, because the condition of the Roma neighbourhood was the worst.
But while the Roma flag flies proudly in Kavarna, elsewhere it's a different story. Just a few hours' drive away, Roma living in poor conditions voice their anger and invite us to film their neighbourhood.
Come on, is there no one to defend us? We want to have normal streets. Our kids can't even go to school. There are no jobs, and most of us here are unemployed. We can't afford to buy shoes for our children.
Working in the town of Novi Pazar is one of Bulgaria's main Roma rights organizations, which voices concern about what it says has become segregation.
Roma and Bulgarians live in separate neighbourhoods. The Roma live in segregated neighbourhoods, and their children go to schools that are predominantly attended by Roma children. This has an impact on the overall quality of education of the Roma children, and also on the overall attitude towards the Roma community.
European officials are encouraging what they call comprehensive community projects, a combined focus on education, housing, employment and healthcare. The school has an Amalipe community centre attached to it.
If there are children in the neighbourhood who are not enrolled at school, we help them to register. If there are children who are enrolled but don't attend classes, we visit them at home to see what the reasons are and to get them back to school to continue with their education. I'd like to follow my dreams and not make any mistakes. After 8th grade, I'll study in a professional high school for agriculture.
The Amalipe Community Centre gives us support. We share our problems with them and ask for support when we have problems with the teachers.
Spain is home to Western Europe's largest Roma population, where inclusion policies have been in place for years. Granada's Sacromonte district is the traditional Roma quarter, where their culture is celebrated. Well known for its flamenco performances, the area has become popular with tourists. Spain is held up by some as a role model for other European nations wanting to fight discrimination against Roma and also improve social inclusion. But local experts say that while there has been significant progress, there's still a lot to be done. That work is in more disadvantaged areas and among Roma immigrants arriving from Eastern Europe. Authorities say over the past 20 years the percentage of Granada's 80,000 Roma deemed to be at risk of social exclusion has fallen from 70% down to about 30%. But that is still too much, say Roma rights groups. They're focusing on programs such as education and employment training, but say there's still a long way to go towards eliminating discrimination.
One of the fundamental problems when trying to improve the situation of the Roma community is the negative image the rest of society has towards the Roma. The image is still very stereotypical. When we're talking about Roma, we fall into prejudice, stereotypes, and the negative image of the Roma community results in more cases of discrimination.
I haven't always had bad experiences, but I've been ignored for being a Roma. When I handed over my CV, it was thrown away straight away, simply for being a Roma.
But thanks to the special training programs, dozens of job contracts are found every year. The courses are carried out in cooperation with companies likely to have future positions available. However, with financial problems in many countries, obtaining funding is a big challenge for organisations that help Roma communities.
In the current economic climate, the Andalusian government has given priority to all care-related policies, precisely so that people at risk of exclusion are not left behind. If we stop investing in the Roma population, maybe they will be at risk of being socially excluded, and of course they'd be condemned to live in inhumane conditions and be cut off from society. This economic crisis affects the general population, but in particular vulnerable groups in the Roma community in a very big way. The crisis affects them, even if there's been big improvements in housing. There are only a few pockets of makeshift housing in Spain, but they still exist.